Started with the program here. Good evening and welcome to the Monday nights here for Wings for Life. Um, we are definitely um, glad to welcome Stacy Burleson. She is the co-founder and executive director of Women in Leadership. Stacy is an advocate and voice for many broken women who search for love, driven by an internal desire to be wanted while battling an identity crisis while in the process of change. Stacy believes women are the hearts and backbones of our families and communities. In order to keep our families and communities whole, united, and healthy, we need our women in the home with their children. Stacy quoted, "I lost my son the first day I was sent to prison. It broke my heart and my spirit was darkened. And then 8 months later, I lost my mother. I couldn't fathom how I would survive another day. It was tough. It was through the heartache and pain that I found my purpose. I didn't want any other mother or daughter to feel as helpless as I had because of incarceration. That's when I knew women in leadership was needed. Women in Leadership is an organization that aims to uplift, empower, and inspire women to develop those self advocacy skills in order to become leaders through personal and professional growth by providing access to leadership development and educational opportunities. Please give a round of applause to our wonderful guest speaker this evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me. I don't have a PowerPoint. I have my computer, so I don't forget some of the stuff that I want to talk about. So first of all, I would like to say, give honor to God, for blessing me with this wonderful opportunity to come speak before you guys today and to speak to the audience as well, to tell about, all the wonderful things that my organization has been doing. So, like you said, my name is Stacy Burleson. I am one of the co-founders, the executive director, owner of Women in Leadership, which is a program for any woman impacted by the criminal justice system, directly or indirectly, which means that could be anyone, right? Because we're all affected by crime, everything that's going on in the world today. We've been working with the Department of Corrections. Well, let me back up. Let me give you guys a little bit of history. So I'm originally from Texas. I have two brothers. I'm the middle child. I'm from a little small town called Lamesa, Texas, where sports, we were big on sports. I played volleyball, basketball, all that stuff. My father was in and out of prison, so majority of my life, I didn't have a dad around. I was raised by a single mom. I was raised by my grandmother a lot as well. I ended up getting involved in relationships that were not good for me, like many young girls. I ended up, getting molested at a young age and just going from bad relationship to bad relationship after that. I ended up leaving Texas, coming to Albuquerque because I was, leaving a domestic violence relationship. So, I had my two brothers up here. I figured I'd come up here, start my life all over. I had two kids by then. Once I got here, I mean, it really took me fast, right? Because I'm from a small town where, like, if you blink, you're probably out of the town. And so then I get here to New Mexico, and it was big, right? I ended up getting involved in the drug life. I ended up getting into another relationship, and I ended up, long story short, I ended up starting to sell drugs. It was just so easy. It came easy. I just seen people stand on the corner all day and make all this money and drive these nice cars, and all that stuff was, it was like it was driving something in me, right? It was just doing something to me. And so eventually I started selling drugs, and I really became good at it. All along, I was in this domestic violence relationship, but the whole time I really, really wanted to be a nurse. That's what I had wanted to be my whole entire life. So anyway, years pass. I get on probation, get off. I learn how to trick the system, how to, get by my PO and all that stuff. I ended up going to prison. I ended up, doing it one too many times, and I got sentenced to the Department of Corrections, something that I never saw in my life, in my future. And at the time when I got incarcerated, I had six kids at the time. I had a set of twins that were only 2 years old at the time. I had a 6-year-old, 8-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 14-year-old. So it was really horrible, and a 15-year-old. And I was a single parent, so I left these, my children with my mom, who at the time was battling cancer. So it was like really not a good situation. So fast forward short, I go to prison. When I am at MDC, I get sentenced to my time, and for some odd, strange reason, I'm kept there like an extra 30 days, and I really can't understand why. So, I'm praying to God, just give me the prison, give me that right. So, because that's when your time starts. So I get to prison, and boom. Most important thing for me to do when I got to prison that day was to write my oldest son a letter, who was 18 years old at the time. And I wanted to write my son a letter because my son was getting in trouble. And he was back and forth in the detention home. He even went to the little kids' prison. And it was because of the life that I had introduced him to. I had brought him into this life of drugs, and then he started getting involved in the gang life. So I wrote my son a letter, and I was like, son, you're the most important thing to me in this world. You're my oldest child. If anything ever happened to you, I can't go on with life. And my son was murdered that night. He was killed. He was shot. He was killed that night. And at that time, I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. I was suicidal, and at the time, I needed mental health, and I was denied it by the Department of Corrections. They told me that I didn't need it, that my situation was situational. And I was like, okay, you know what? I don't need it. All I need is my mom. I don't even need God. And then 8 months later, my mother died of cancer. And that was my first day, my first 8 months of doing time inside the Department of Corrections. And before that, my father was murdered. So once I get to prison, the recidivism rate in New Mexico is so high, and so all you see is the women. I'm so sorry. All you see is the women constantly coming back and forth, and I couldn't really understand why. And I'm just angry at these women because I feel like that they just want to be on drugs. They just want to do this stuff, right? Because I didn't tell you guys, I went to prison for selling drugs, so I was the drug dealer, right? So they just want to get high. They just want to do this. So um, once I got out, I realized that that wasn't the case, right? That, I used to say that the system is set up for us to fail. And I no longer even think that the system is set up for us to fail. I think that the system is the system, and it should run as such. I think what we have to do is we have to change the mindset of the people that constantly keeps going into the system, and that I think that that's what we have to change, is changing that person. And so that's when I felt like women in leadership needs to be started, was because I ended up doing time with some of the very same women that I used to sell drugs to. And it didn't really affect me until now my daughter is struggling with fentanyl, and it's really bad. And so now I'm left to raise three grandkids, and left to explain where is their mom. And so now I'm on the other side, and I see how some parents have felt all those nights that they didn't know where their child was. So that's why I started Women in Leadership, so I could give back to the very community that I had damaged so much. Because at this point, I don't know if I could save my daughter, but if I could help save someone else's daughter, that's what I would like to do. So we started Women in Leadership. We started doing bi-weekly tele-echo sessions every first and the third Monday of each month, where we Zoom into Springer, New Mexico Correctional Facility and Western New Mexico Correctional Facility, to both women correctional facilities. We do bi-weekly tele-echo sessions where they're basically based off of like any type of mental health issue. Basically, we got Christmas, the holidays coming up. We will do things on coping with the holidays, depression during the holidays, returning back into your family, how to communicate. We do those types of presentations. Only women join those presentations, and we only have female presenters on those particular presentations. Some of the other stuff that we do is that we also do life skill classes with the women and the men inside the Department of Corrections. We just, within the last 90 days, start working with the men inside the Department of Corrections. So we do life skill classes, job readiness classes, financial literacy, and we do one-on-one intakes. The one-on-one intakes is when anybody who is getting ready to release back into society, we'll do a 30-minute intake with them, and just to figure out where they're going, what type of resources that they need, and what it is that we could do to help these individuals who are turn it back into our community, right? Because it is our job as a community to help these individuals return back. So, for example, I could give you, if I look at one prison and I could take from May to October, just from one prison alone, we have 80 inmates, ex inmates, returning citizens, returning back into society by October. And so that's why it's so important as a community, because if we don't help these individuals, what are they going to do? Right? Some of these individuals are going to turn back into crime. They're going to turn back to drugs because they don't have any other choice. Right? So that's why we do the life skill classes, the job readiness, the financial literacy, to try to get these individuals ready for society when they return back into society. So that's what we do inside the prison. We also have done job fairs. We did a job fair at the women's prison in Grants. We did a job fair at the men's prison in Grants. And we also, thank you, we also are getting ready to do a job fair at the prison in Los Lunas at Central New Mexico. And the purpose of those job fairs, like I said, we have 80 people just from one prison releasing. Some of those are violent offenders. They could have murder conviction. They could have any type of conviction, right? Because not everybody stays in prison. Some people have outdates and some people do deserve second chances. So it is our duty as a community to help these people out. And so that's why we have the job fair, to see if we could get anybody actually employed before they leave the prison, right? So that was the purpose of that. So if anybody wants to come to the next job fair, it is October 11th, and that would be at Central New Mexico, Los Lunas Prison. You can reach out to me. All right, so some of the things that we do in the community is we focus on the opioid, epidemic, the opioid crisis that we have going on. We teach on Narcan, so we can come and we can train anybody. We can come to your house, to your church, to your job, to the park, anywhere you would like, and we could train you on Narcan. We could do a presentation, or we could just do it really quick and show you how to use it. And I think that anybody should have it. And the misunderstanding that people have is that Narcan is only for people who are addicted to drugs. That's a misconception. There are a lot of youth, there are a lot of young children who are overdosing on fentanyl. They don't even know that they're taking fentanyl. They may be thinking that they're taking an aspirin, a Tylenol, a Percocet, who knows? And it end up has fentanyl in it, because our kids, they aren't thinking. Just think about it. You have a headache. What do we say? Here, take a Tylenol, take an aspirin. We do this with our own kids. I do this with my kids. And so if your child is somewhere, and that's why we all need to really sit down and have these talks with our kids about not taking medication, not taking anything from anyone, not your friend, not no one, because your friend could have got it from someone else, you know what I mean, not knowing what it is. And a lot of kids are overdosing, thinking they're taking something else, and they're overdosing on fentanyl. And so that's why everybody should have Narcan on them. I did forget to bring some, but I could bring some back for you guys. Everyone should have Narcan on them, because anyone could overdose. We have a lot of the elderly, right? They could be living at home alone. They could be on pain medication, and they could, take too much. Maybe they're in a lot of pain. They're just taking extra, cancer patient, those types of things. So fentanyl is not a drug for not just drug addicts or overdosing on fentanyl. Now, fentanyl is a good drug if it's used correctly at the hospital, through the doctors, things like that. So we do that. Another thing that we focus on is we feed the homeless. Every month we feed 1,000 people a month. We just go up and down Central, and we just try to find the hot spots of where we could find the homeless people. We feed usually on Tuesdays and Fridays. We do 125 each day, and we just count the amount of women that we come in contact with. We just subtract it, because we know the rest are men. And what we do with the women is, if they need hygiene products, we'll give them to them. We'll give them feminine hygiene products, socks, bras, panties, shampoo, conditioner. If we don't have it with us, then we'll bring it back the next time we come. We've been doing this for a while, so the people kind of know us, and they kind of look for us when we come out there. We have had to administer Narcan to someone out there who has OD'd in front of us. It's really bad out there, you guys. when we're out there, the dealers, they pull up, they're serving the fentanyl, they're asking us, they're offering us fentanyl. So it's really bad out there. These people are really hurting and these people are really suffering. What we notice is there is a lot of youth that is out there right now. A lot of youth that we're seeing more now in the last couple of months than we have seen when we started this. And we're asking them, why are you out here? What's going on? And they're all saying that they have nowhere to go, they have no home, and they're all strung out on this fentanyl. And we're also coming in contact with a lot of pregnant women, also, and a lot of pregnant youth. So if anybody's out there doing outreach, for youth or pregnant women and those things, up and down Central is a really good spot to go up and down if you're doing those types of things. um, Also, we haven't done it in a while, but we were working with the Del Norte High School kids. If you go to our website, they do have some podcasts up there, but the rest are on our YouTube video. So we worked with them on gun violence and gang prevention and things like that to try to get them to help them stay away from drugs and things like that. We also every now and then visit El Dorado High School and go talk to them about Narcan and stuff like that as well. Starting in October, we will officially be a food bank. So every Tuesday and Thursday, if anybody needs a food box, they're more than welcome to come down to our office to get one. We also know that there's a lot of elderly around that may not be able to come down there and pick up a box or whatever. We would be more than happy to deliver those food boxes to the elderly or who is not able to get down there and pick up a food box. So that starts October the 24th. We welcome anybody who would like to come down, male or female. We're another thing that we're focusing on is breast and cervical cancer with women. Of course, men they also need to get checked, but particularly in women, we need to get those things looked out, especially for women in their 20s and women who are starting to get like at my age in their 40s and 50s. So there is a program where if you don't have insurance or you have a certain, it could be free at no cost. So if anybody wants to get that checked out, they're more than welcome to, come and reach out to us about that. And then let me see. We're in the process of getting ready to get a home. So hopefully we'll have a home for women to parole out to, a wellness home. And so we're, keep your fingers crossed on that. So hopefully that'll happen soon. And I mean, that's pretty much it. Our work is working in the community and giving back and just trying to, break those barriers and change the outlook on how people think about people who are returning into society. Because eventually, most of the people who are incarcerated, they will be returning back into society. And a lot of these people, they want to change. They just need our help. And I just think that if we all could come together, we could make it safer. And another reason why it's so important for the community to get involved with people returning back into society is because we need to make our community safer. If we do not get these parents, these dads, and these moms home into the homes back with their children, crime is only going to get worse. And, the recidivism rate, the jail thing will only keep going up and up. We got a lot of kids running around here, shooting, committing a lot of crime, a lot of gang violence. And half of these kids is because they don't have parents in the home. If their parents is somewhere strung out on drugs or maybe they're incarcerated. 80% of women incarcerated inside the Department of New Mexico Correction Department are mothers. So that means that's how many kids don't have moms at home. That's all I got. Any questions? No, we don't have vouchers yet. Hopefully we'll have some one day. But what we can do is we can help people apply for emergency rental assistance. We can help you apply for that. So I did forget to say that because you used to could just go online and apply. You can't do that anymore. You have to go through someone. So we are an agency that can assist with that. I mean, that's one of my fights because it happened to me, right? I lost custody of my daughter. She was 16 at the time. I had we had three together. But she was 16 at the time, and I ended up losing custody of her because that's one of my fight right now. Actually, I'm taking like a paralegal class, like a law class. I would like to be a lawyer one day, and that's one of the reasons why I did, because they did take my child from me. And when I was there, I was like, okay, power of attorney. Once you get out, it's voided, and you get your child back. No, right? If your child is in someone's house longer than 90 days, you really lose custody of your child. So, I mean, I don't know. All I can say is, we could try to fight together. It's extremely hard, right? Now, I could say then, like the judge, um, I don't know what's up with the family courts, right? They ain't right. I don't know. When it happened to me, I did do my research on the judge, and I found out that it didn't just happen to me; it happened to several other people. Um, and my rights were completely terminated. And my daughter lived around the corner from me, so I'm not sure. It's hard because, like I said, once your child is in somebody else's house longer than 90 days, which is not a very long time, you almost automatically lose rights to your child. I mean, it's devastating. Well, and it's crazy that you said it because I am not I am not a person who has a drug problem. I wasn't on drugs when I went to prison. I dibbled a dabble in prison, and then I was able to get off. But if I had would have been, or if I would have been a violent offender, if I would have been that same violent person that I was before I went in, there's no telling what I would have done, right? But when I had lost my daughter, I had already lost a child, and I was determined not to go back behind bars. So I lost my child behind bars. You know what I mean? And I didn't get to see my child get put in the ground. And so that's the only thing that didn't make me return back to prison when they terminated my rights, because it is devastating. It's almost yeah. Well, that's what some family does, especially, I don't know the situation, but if it has anything to do with drugs, it's like they're just so scared, they don't know. It's like you have to earn that trust back. And then we get out, we want it immediately, but it doesn't. And that's another thing that we have to understand too. When we come back from out of incarceration, it doesn't just snap back to the way it was, and so it's like a lot of family just don't trust us, you know what I mean, and the kids. And then you just have some that just don't want, they've grown attached and they don't want to give them back, but they don't know the damage that they're doing to the child in the long run, because families should be kept together whole. It's important to have a mom and a dad, or two parents, a two-parent home, and if the mom or the dad is available to raise their own child, then we as a community, as a system, we should be doing everything that we can do to make sure that happens. That family gets together, whether we're providing them a home, we're providing them counseling, whether all of that. We should be making sure that happens, because it's about prevention. It's about preventing that child from going to that prison or pipeline as well, and the mom, right? Because if you break that relationship up, it's a good chance that they're both are going to end up in prison on drugs or whatnot, right? Because no matter what you tell a child about their parent, kids love their parents. You know what I mean? So eventually, all you're going to do is build some type of hatred, anger, animosity, and it only could turn bad. So the best thing to do is to maybe try to get a third party involved, a neutral, a pastor. So back in the day, you know, churches are the ones who's supposed to get involved in family business, not the courts, right? So we start involving courts, and that's where It's, they tell you what you can't do with your child, this and that. The church is the one supposed to be involved when it comes to family business. So they need to reach out to a pastor, if not their own pastor, to that person's pastor. You know what I mean? Something like that, and try to build that relationship up like that. That would be the best advice that I could give right now, is to, because you could go, the legal way, but if you could try to, legal usually gets ugly. You know what I mean? But if you could try to build it that way, I would do it. And it may take time. I ended up losing custody of my daughter, but me and my daughter's in my life right now. You know what I mean? My daughter was 16, right? So if you got a smaller child, that's a long time to wait. So I would say reach out to, a pastor if I was that person, a neutral counselor, somebody. Yeah. So we do have a peer run drop-in center. So it's Monday through Friday, 9 to 3, and it's on 300 Central. It's on the corner of Third and Central. Yeah, downtown. So that's where the food bank is. I bought some flyers. It's kid friendly, and so the drop-in center is only for women, and it is kid friendly. We do have a computer room, we have a clothing room, and then and we'll be a food bank as well, so they could come down there. And then we have denim hygiene, personal hygiene, stuff like that. So if you ever have anybody that needs something you can't get to them, you're more than welcome to call us, and then we can get it to them.
And I just want, I would like to take that narcon training, maybe Jerry, we can have her come to the office. Yeah, like everybody offer other classes besides the narcon training, like maybe drug classes, game.
Yeah, we offer all kind of classes: financial literacy, life skills, parenting, job readiness. We have a gang prevention class. It's called Gangsters Anonymous. It's just like a 12-step group, so it's ran just like a 12-step group. You know. No, I haven't. We haven't offered any of those yet. I mean, but I would be willing to start one with you if you would like to. We could get one going together. So no, we don't have that. And so we have also teamed up with Sacred Heart Recovery. So that's by the fairgrounds. I don't know if you guys know that. So they do the Suboxone, methadone, like that, and then they have it to where. So I'm looking for clients to get on my caseload so I could get them on to also help them get a housing. Yeah, because and they have a housing program where we can get them to housing. So yeah, so please send them my way. Oh yeah, send them our way, and we can help them, see if we can get them on that program. And then anybody that needs help applying for emergency rental assistance, we can help with that too. Yeah. Any other questions? Women in leadership. Yeah, women in leadership. So yeah, I don't know if you we're gonna be a food bank too. So if you need a food box delivered to you, we can get it delivered. So we're looking for people who can't come get it. We're more so looking for like the elderly. We're not looking for someone who could come, get it. So if they can come get it, they need to come get it. But if it's an elderly person, we would love to take it to them. All right. Yes. 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 Now we do take male community service. We just don't. The drop-in center is just not for male. It's just a women's drop-in center. But yeah, if men need to do community service, we do, because we do all kind of events, all kind of things all over. Feed the homeless, make bags, all that. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? Well, thanks for having me.
All right, let's get one more great big round of applause for Miss Stacy. Thank you for all your time that you give to us and for all your resources for the city of Albuquerque and the state of New Mexico. We do appreciate it. A few announcements for Wings for Life. This Wednesday at the Civic Center, we are going to be a part of Celebrate Recovery. Wings for Life will have a booth down there. So please come and join us from 10 to 2 at the Civic Plaza. And then October 7th, off of 2nd Street, we will be having a yard sale at one of our board of directors' homes. That is during the Balloon Fiesta, so it is a fundraiser event for Wings for Life. So please come see us there. There will be an email going out with details about that as well. And then starting October 16th, Wings for Life will be launching a substance abuse program here at the Monday nights as well as the Thursday nights up in the East Mountains. So more details to follow with that. Keep an eye on your emails for that information as well. And typically we do not do a program on the 5th Monday of the month, but since we are in October and it is Halloween coming up, it falls on October 30th. So we're going to do a family friendly event here at the Monday nights with a costume contest and dinner for the whole family. So please come join us. And then on December the 9th, we are going to have our family prison day down at the Roswell Correctional Facility. There will be 2 time slots. There is one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Emails have already gone out about that, but we will have a couple more emails going out, I believe, this week and in 2 weeks again as a reminder to sign up if you want to be a part of Family Prison Days. Again, thank you for being a part of our Monday night program tonight. Have a great evening.